100% of your pain. We practiced that for hours. I had her up all last night. 100% of your pain is in your unwillingness to accept what is. 100% of all the pain you feel in life is because you think it should be different than it is.
That's right.
Right. So you get to choose every moment to be changed to that pain by your belief, or to examine it and let it go. To examine it and let yourself know, there's another way to hold this. I don't have to be changed. When Margot suggested this song, it actually says, there is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
There is power in the name of Jesus. And I asked her to change it to Spirit, God, and Jesus, because let me tell you, how many of you, if you think you're the only one, come up to me and tell me how I should reference the divine? What name should be used to reference what God is? Because one or the other one makes you uncomfortable. Right? You all are sitting there, and raise your hands, be honest. When Margot sang Jesus, how many people just felt their stomach go, ooh, what church am I in? Right?
I did.
100% of your pain is in your unexamined belief that that should be different. That there is no value in that statement. That there is something wrong with saying the name Jesus. Jesus was a man who walked the earth. Buddha was a man who walked the earth. We are all human beings, men and women walking the earth. And there is power in our names. There is power in the name I am, I am. There is power in the name because we give it to it. We give power to those names. There's power in the name Jesus because it makes some of you uncomfortable. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Look how much power I have. Who wants to run for the door?
You're so bad.
There's power in the name Spirit. There's power in the name I am that I am. And when we stop making others and certain names and certain beliefs wrong, we get to live in peace. But so many of us would rather stay right. Rather stay in our I'm evolved. That's what I say to myself. Oh, I get it, but I'm evolved past that. And then I laugh at myself. Because I was one of those people who, when Margot sent me the name of the song she wanted to sing, and I typed it into YouTube and listened to There's Power in the Name of Jesus, I was like, that was my first reaction to it. And then I laughed at myself and thought about it. Is that true? That we can't say that? Is it true that there's power in the name? Yes. There's a power in every name when we give it to it, when we set it up. On Wednesday this week, Peggy and I had the great opportunity. We drove down to Stanford together. This is so fabulous. This is our work day. We drove down to Stanford together and we attended a lecture by Byron Katie. Right? Katie in person. And the health and wellness department at Stanford brought her in to make their employees more productive, to make their employees less reactive. right? To make their employees healthier. In fact, they get a credit. All the employees at Stanford get a credit if they attended the seminar that takes money off of their health insurance copays. Right? For doing what we do every week. Can we get credit for that at church? Amen. Right? For examining what the truth is. And asking ourselves, being willing to ask ourselves, what am I holding on to that is causing my pain? What belief or idea am I latched to that is keeping me chained to an unproductive life? To a life filled with pain and regret? It's amazing, this brave woman. We all filled out these, where Byron Katie, if you're familiar with the work of Byron Katie, calls the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. Right? It's so much fun. It's so un-PC. You sit there and you fill out everything you really think about other people. And then you work on it. There's a process of working on it. And this brave woman stood up and shared with Katie. And she said, so read me your first statement. And her first statement was, Tyler should follow the morning routine. So Katie asked, who's Tyler? Tyler's my 14-year-old son. And he should follow the morning routine. So Katie asked her, is that true? Yes, she says. Tyler should follow the morning routine. Is that absolutely true? Yes, this woman stated. Tyler should absolutely follow the morning routine. And so Katie asked her, said, close your eyes for a minute and just examine, notice, how do you behave and how do you react when you think Tyler should follow the morning routine and he doesn't? And she said, wow. Well, I get all tense and aggravated, and I can really feel the veins in my forehead popping out, and I don't think he's going to make it through life if he can't even get out of bed and come down to breakfast. I made breakfast, and there it is sitting there, and it's getting cold, and I got up early, and why shouldn't he? Right? So Katie asked her, said, so one of you is downstairs in the kitchen steaming, and the other one's upstairs in bed asleep. Who's crazy? Right? One of you is fuming about how unfair life is, and one of you is having a great day. Then she asked her, what would you be without that belief that Tyler should follow the morning routine? That Tyler should do this certain routine that you've set up? She said, I'd be relaxed and I'd be going about my day. And so Katie invited her to understand that she was giving away all her power and letting her day be determined by someone else's actions and someone else's choice. And the kicker, which really got me as the parent of a teenager, it's like, why would Tyler want to come downstairs and be with you? Given what you've just described. That's how you are. I think he's pretty smart to stay upstairs in bed. Mom's on a tear again. Right? Why won't he come down? I would wait till the last minute too to open my door and come down to breakfast. But we all do this. And Margot's just, I can see her grin because I know she has a teenage girl. laughing because it's so true. Our beliefs, the beliefs that we know better how other people should behave, or that something should never have happened, is what's keeping us from being at peace, being serene, and enjoying the life we say we want. Our unexamined beliefs that it should have happened differently. So-and-so should not be elected to office. Right? Here we are in the middle of the political season. We all have a belief, no matter where you are on the political spectrum, you all have a belief that so-and-so is unqualified to hold the office of President of the United States. For whatever reason, and your belief that the other person is unqualified is causing you all the anxiety, for those of you who are political junkies. Your belief that it should be different when it obviously isn't. Yeah. We shouldn't elect a reality star to be president, should we? Well, obviously some people think so. Are they wrong? Who knows? Are they absolutely wrong? Yeah. Break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. Because that energy, look how much attention, let's talk Trump. Right? Look how much attention. You cannot turn on the TV night or day without seeing it. Period. Hearing it. Reading about it. The negative energy that is directed toward him, as well as the positive energy directed toward him, magnifies it. All the anti-something, what you resist, persists. Right? So we can say, oh, no, I'm taking the high road. That's a really good one, right? I'm taking the high road in this political season. When we can be honest with ourselves, we all have opinions, beliefs, and desires. We all have them. And where we get chained to them, that we're right, and the other person and the other party is wrong, is where all of our pain is. All of our pain. That woman that I spoke about at the Daigle conference had an amazing, amazing gift. She was willing. She was willing to look at herself. She was willing to consider for a moment that what she thought, what she believed, and what she held might actually be wrong. Might actually be the thing that's causing the problem. And when we can step back from our agenda, our goals, our beliefs, and just look at them in the light of day, we open for the possibility of creating what we say we really want. I am willing to see this situation differently. We teach here our first principle. There's only one power and one presence in the universe and in our lives, God the good. There's only one power, one presence, God. And yet, as we all behave, we think there's so much evil in the world, bad in the world, wrong in the world. And we constantly fight it. If we are going to live in our first principle, there's only one power and one presence, God. And it's all good. We get to live in that moment. Get to be in that moment when we see things differently. When we're able to examine whatever is before us. The layoff. The divorce. The diagnosis. And say, I'm willing to see this differently. I'm willing to seek out the good in it. Because until we stop fighting what is, denying the reality of the situation, we're chained to it. We're absolutely chained to it. But when we can stand in the middle of any situation and say, this is what is. This is what is. What do I do now? How do I react and behave in this situation now? How do I face this death and go on? How do I face that diagnosis and transform it into something else? How do I step forward in my life? Willingness, I believe, is the key to all of life's transformations. Willingness. Willingness is the key to your happiness. Unless you are willing to open yourself to another person, you can't be married. Unless you're willing to go beyond what you think you can endure and forgive, you can't stay married. Unless you are willing to experience something you've never experienced. Yeah, all the couples are going, oh yeah, that's true. I see the heads nodding as it touches. Unless you are willing to step out into something you've never done, you cannot create a new career. Unless you're willing to say, I don't know, you can't become an expert. Get that? Unless you're willing to know that you don't know, you can't be an expert in anything. You must be teachable, open, malleable, willing to see life from a different perspective. You are not responsible, though. Let me be really careful. You're not responsible for what happens to you in this life. Right? You're not responsible for everything that happens to you in this life. People die. People betray you. Life happens. But you are responsible for how you react to it, how you respond to it, how you engage with it. And then you can choose. You can stand there and say, that should not have happened, it's absolutely wrong, and you can complain that the universe and the system is rigged and conspiring against you, or you can step into a solution. You can step into that place that knows that there is always another way, that there is always another choice, and that there is always peace available. There's always serenity available when you change your mind. 100% of your pain is coming from your unwillingness. 100% of your pain is coming from your unwillingness to accept what is and to lovingly seek a new solution. You're willing to be vulnerable. You can be anything you want in this world. If you're willing to be open, you can transform yourself. If you're willing to be completely honest, you can transform the planet. Now, these are no small steps. These are huge, huge steps. But like Romans, they're life-changing. Every step, every little crawl, every little baby increment, when we can say, I am willing to see this differently. I am willing to examine what is causing all the pain in my life and in others. And our minds, I can hear them, I can hear mine right now, will give you 1,000 reasons why you're justified. Justified in your anger, justified in your outrage, justified in your perspective. And your mind is clever and quick. But when we can stay in an examination of our thoughts, and we can say just focused on us and not on the other people, we find the kingdom of heaven, which I talked about last week. It's at hand. It's within. It's right here, between our ears. Because when we open ourselves to seeing it differently, to being willing to be changed, we are opening ourselves to peace that passes all understanding. Joy that knows no limit. And love. Love beyond measure. Ready, willing, and anything. When we're ready, as Reverend Elizabeth calls it, ripe. Right? I love that. She calls it ripe. But ripeness is a season. Right? Ready, willing, can come at any time. Sometimes we're ripe. Sometimes we can become willing to see it differently. Let's take that to our time of meditation.